Well. Well, that's how we started last episode, so I thought it was funny.
Okay.
Yeah, because I listened to it.
Yeah, because you're not a fake fan anymore.
Yeah, I even subscribed too. Now I don't have to like. Wait, you can see that?
Yeah, if people have it set to public, their subscriptions on YouTube, you can see it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I saw somebody else subscribed. I assume that was Melissa, but I don't know.
I don't know.
So we went from 6 to 8 subscribers on YouTube.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I find it weird that you saw it.
Really?
I mean, it's fine. Well, I don't know. I'm like interesting. You didn't say anything, but yeah, I guess I was tired of like searching up the channel every week to like the videos. So just like, yeah, no, they'll just pop in my feed. I'll just give them a little thumbs up, and go from there, and then not listen to them.
Yeah.
But
you could at least play the video, mute it. Give us a view.
I got too many other podcasts to listen to.
Well, you don't got another device you can just leave?
Oh, sorry, Aaron. I'm not, I don't have an Apple Watch or...
Okay, I don't have an Apple Watch either.
I don't have a smartwatch.
And I can't watch videos on it either.
I thought Fitbits looked more like basic than that.
Well, they have the basic versions, but I guess, after their Apple Watches got popular, they
copied.
Yeah.
Said, hey fam, can I copy your homework? so you know how like, no wait, what am I thinking? I talked to our fans, all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And let me tell you.
Okay.
Let me tell you, there's severe backlash to episode 21.
What?
And
Why?
the fact that it isn't a Q&A part 2.
I feel like you're lying.
No.
Show me the receipts.
What do you mean? There's no receipts. This was a verbal conversation.
You talk on the phone with 2 of them, and
yes.
I guess in person with the other one.
Well, yeah, I talked in person with Melissa. I talked in person with David.
Wait, because he's in Ohio. Yeah.
There's a picture of us.
Shout out to David.
Here, wait, the receipts. Here, I'll pull up the picture of it.
That doesn't prove that you talked about it. It only proves that you were together.
Okay. Like, get over it. I'm saying we talked about it. Take my word for it.
Okay.
And then I talked to Patricia on the phone about it. And let me say, they're not happy. They're like, yeah, like episode 20 slapped. And I was real excited to hear the rest of my questions. But, then I hit play on episode 21. I was a little nervous about the title because it didn't say a very special episode again. And then it started going, and I was just like, this is a direct quote from all of them. They're a hive mind. But no, in all seriousness, I did talk to. I will say that Melissa was disappointed. Mm-hmm. David was very disappointed.
Wow.
And I'm going to say future Patricia.
Hold on. What do you mean future?
Future. I time traveled. No.
So you didn't actually talk to her?
Wait. Give me a second. Well, I talked to her.
Okay.
But the thing is, wait. Future Patricia.
Because she hasn't listened to it yet.
Will be disappointed. Because, yeah, she's like on episode 15.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, so overwhelming backlash.
So hold on. That's 2 out of 3. That's not 3 out of 3.
Did I ever say 3 out of 3?
Yes, you did.
I said all 3.
That implies 3 out of 3.
Aaron, I'm not good with math.
Shut up. Oh my God.
Aaron, you're triggering me.
Here you go gaslighting me again. Started before the podcast.
I don't think you know what gaslighting means.
I do know what it means.
How did I gaslight you?
Because you said that I had dementia earlier when I said a joke like once, and then I repeated it, and you said I said it 4 times, and then you went down to 3 times. You
said it 3 times.
I did not say it 3 times.
The 4 times was an exaggeration.
Oh my God.
This is episode.
Well, I thought you.
Wait, what? When do we do the intro? Why don't we do it like now?
I don't know.
All right, so
I do the intro.
This is wait. This is the.
Do you even know which one this is?
This is episode 22 of
Okay, that's not how you do it.
What? I can do it how I want.
Okay.
This is episode 22 of the Not Just Aaron podcast. I don't have dementia and you
I don't like this bit.
All right, dude, you can do the real intro. The only reason I wanted to do the intro was just to say that.
Okay. This is the 22nd episode of the Not Just Arin podcast. I am Arin and you are?
Not Arin.
Thank you.
Is there anything else? I thought the intro was longer.
No.
Okay. We're starting off easy.
This is a softball.
Yeah. Well, what is it? More feedback that we got from the fans.
All three of them this time.
No,
because Patricia hasn't even listened to the very special episode, so she wouldn't know.
She's working her way. She's working her way through. I'm speaking for future Patricia. Okay, here. Okay. I'll say that she hasn't listened to it.
Okay.
But we did talk and she was like, "Oh yeah, that kind of sucks that there wasn't a part 2." There you go.
Go
on. All right, so Wait. No, I was going to do the feedback. So our fans are also very much in support. They as a peace offering, we'll say. We got to appease the fans. This is our apology video.
Okay. What do we need to apologize for?
Not doing a part 2, they're quite upset.
That last episode was the apology because we announced that we'll be continuing the questions for subsequent
episodes. But that was the insult. This is the apology.
Okay.
Episode 21 was an offense. Okay, our fans are in support of adding some fan interaction, some Q&A each episode. They the feedback I got is that it made the episode more engaging. It made it so that they were anticipating it more and enjoyed it more because it's like, oh, that's me. It's now we have a very limited fan base, so I don't know if they want to be coming up with a question a week, or if we just reduce it to 1 or 2 questions a week.
Okay.
With our current pool, we're gonna stick with 3, but that'll run out very quickly, and so either
4 weeks. That's a month.
Yeah, that's quick.
We can accumulate more by then.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Well, I just don't know their question stamina. You know what I mean? They gotta think of new ones every week, or and it's when will they start repeating themselves? Will they whatever? Anyway,
okay.
All that to say, they are in favor of adding questions each episode.
Okay.
They have promised me they won't crucify us. If
sounds like something David said.
No, I'm just putting my own spin on things now. Anyway, question 1 comes from Melissa.
Okay.
Starting simple, starting fun.
I feel like this is gonna be the opposite of simple and fun, but go ahead.
Well, I mean,
this feels like misdirection.
Who was? Now, Arin, we talked about this. I feel like you're interrupting me a little bit.
No, because you were about to repeat a bit from last week.
No, I wasn't.
Yes, you were.
I only repeated it once you interrupted me because you were like, this doesn't sound simple and fun. It sounds like it's going to be the opposite.
Okay, you were at the end of a sentence when I said that.
I was in the middle of a paragraph. Okay. If a zombie apocalypse started today, who between the two of us would live longer?
Are we going by horror movie rules or rationality?
That's a good response.
Because if we're going by horror movie rules, then I die immediately. But...
Well, this isn't a movie, Arin. This is real life.
Sure.
So I don't know. I asked it. You wanna give your take?
I mean, let's see. Have you ever been fishing before or hunting?
Oh, okay. You're going based on survivability. Yeah. Have you?
I've gone fishing, not hunting.
You? Okay. I have also gone fishing. Okay. I have not gone hunting.
Okay. Do you know how to plant a crop?
I Okay, I will say no. Do you?
Okay. I've grown things before.
She said, I've put a seed in the dirt. I poured some water on it.
Well, see, the thing is, my dad, he always like grew vegetables, but I never wanted to grow vegetables. I wanted to grow flowers, but he's like, you can't eat flowers, which isn't necessarily true, by the way. But in that, I have learned some notes on growing, and also in my current occupation, I have learned some things based on the projects we have done. Trying to be vague here, but I think NDAs? I would do. No, well, my NDA is that I don't want to be doxxed, basically.
Oh.
But I think I have osmosized enough information to be able to like grow a tomato.
I don't think osmosized is a word.
We're looking it up. I'm not gonna.
So you're gonna survive off of tomatoes alone?
I mean, no, tomatoes and fish.
Oh. You ever caught anything?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
I don't want to like get into it, but this one time I went fishing in Mobile, Alabama, and I got a fish so big on my line, it took almost everyone on the pier to get it in.
That's pretty lit.
I know. It was gigantic. I don't even know if I ate any of it because I don't really like fresh fish like that, or I didn't at the time.
You're going to survive off of tomatoes and fish, but you don't like fish.
Well, see, fishing again was like something that felt like a chore because my dad just kind of took me along. Mm-hmm. So I haven't been fishing in a very long time, but I feel like I could do it. I don't like touching worms. That's the thing.
Do you like fish. Eating tomatoes?
Yes.
You do?
I do now. I did not before. So I saw this post.
You didn't look up the word.
Okay, I'm talking and I can't do that at the same time. Let's see. Osmosis.
Where's Jamie where you need him? That was a Joe Rogan reference.
I know.
Okay. Well, while you're typing that and looking that up, based on if we're like on our own, just trying to make it, I feel like you raise a good question of like talking about survivability. And
also like self-defense.
I have gone fishing, but I don't think I've ever like caught anything, or at least nothing substantial.
How many times have you gone?
Like 5, not a lot.
Yeah, okay.
5 or less, honestly. It was a grandpa thing.
Yeah.
But what is it? So you gave that angle, but zombie apocalypse, it's not all about lone wolfing it.
Also, what kind of zombies are we talking about here? Because I feel like that also changes things a bit.
This is too detailed. I don't know. Maybe like,
okay.
I mean, there's a wide range of zombies. I feel like I immediately thought like Walking Dead, like slow shamblers, but like there's a lot of them. You know what I mean? But it's like we could also go 28 Days Later. They're fast. We could go World War Z. They're Legos.
A hive mind.
Yeah. What else? Go Last of Us. They're blind, mushrooms. But they have armor.
Okay. They have armor?
Yeah. The mushrooms, you got enough of them. They're kind of tough, you know?
Sure.
It's probably just a game mechanic. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm thinking basic default Walking Dead zombies.
Okay.
So I was going to say that we're talking about, you brought up survivability. That's a good point. But zombie apocalypses, it's not about lone wolfing it. You have to have a group and you have to like work together.
Yeah. But I feel like a group is where you get in trouble because one of them, they're gonna. I'm trying to think of a reference, but I can't.
Exactly.
They're gonna backstab you, basically.
Exactly, and that's why you wouldn't be in my group.
Because I don't know the zombie lore.
No, because I don't know. I feel like you're kind of shifty. You know what I mean? I can't trust you in the group.
You know what? You might be right. Because anytime I've played MineZ, which is the Minecraft version of DayZ, I was always backstabbing because it's fun. Okay?
Exactly. So, like, we don't need a psychopath in our group. And so I think right off the bat, it's like maybe I don't know how to plant a tomato and catch a fish, but I have friends. And you have
tomato.
So I think right now, I think the odds are stacked in my favor. I have a group. You're not in it, so you're not going to backstab me.
Okay.
And so I think I'm looking more alive right now than you.
Interesting.
Do you have a counterpoint?
Well, I did not bring up any like self-defense skills. I think we're both, well, I don't know about you, but I would say I am maybe lacking in that regard. I have fought before, but these are like living humans, not zombies that could bite me and turn me.
Yeah.
I don't know the basics of CQC. You know, I'm no Solid Snake. So yeah, if I ever had to like fight a zombie, I'd probably die.
You have any weapons?
No, I have a hammer. But okay, so a while ago I watched a YouTube video for like what's the best weapon to have in a zombie apocalypse. Obviously a gun is not it, because where are you gonna find the ammo? You need a melee weapon of some sort, but you can't be up close and personal, so it can't be a knife. Where are you gonna find a sword? Do you even know how to wield a sword? Probably not, so it's not that. I think the answer was either an axe or a sledgehammer. A sledgehammer if you want to do the like, you know, two-handed heavy build, and an axe if you're just, you know, a regular light armor build. But I think that was essentially the answer. So I would probably need to invest in an axe or a sledgehammer, especially if these are the type of zombies where you have to like get the brain to kill them.
I feel like you'd also need to put some skill points into strength, because I cannot see you wielding a sledgehammer.
Well, yeah, it's two-handed. It's a heavy strength build.
Yeah, do you have heavy strength?
No, I don't.
Exactly.
I can develop it though. I am surprisingly strong and capable. I don't know if you know this about me. But,
so is Annalise.
Well, she'll do very well then.
One time I was holding her, like, you know, like how you hold like a kid, like just like they're kind of resting on like your hip.
Yeah.
Have you ever
No, I've not held a child before.
Well, what is it? So she's weirdly strong. Like she's really small and skinny, but like I feel like she could kill someone if she wanted to.
Jeez.
Okay. Because for some reason, so like she's just resting on my hip, and she just all of a sudden is like, I'm gonna just like squeeze my thighs together, and it's straight up like I couldn't breathe, and I felt like my like torso was collapsing, like, and I was like, holy frick, you gotta get off. Anyway,
well, maybe that says more about you than her.
I think it says. I was just don't try to take my anecdote and insult me.
Well, I'm just saying.
When I said she could kill someone if she wanted to, I meant specifically you. I have trained her for this instance, and if you try to backstab my group, she will assassinate you.
Me. Great.
Yeah.
Got it. I'll make sure to stay away from you then. Honestly, no, that's probably not true. I was gonna say I probably would do better on my own, but I think the loneliness and like the craziness of the situation will get to me. Yeah, and I would just like go insane. So yeah, probably not. But also, I don't know if two people is even like better, because then what if something happens to the one person? What if they backstab me? Like, there's no good scenarios in this situation. So I feel like I would probably want to die as early as possible. Wow. It's kind of like with the...
So this went from like, I would best you because I have tomato and fish to, I would kill myself in like a heartbeat.
Well, you know, it's kind of like a nuclear apocalypse situation. Do you want to live in Fallout? I don't think so. I don't want to turn into like a super mutant or a ghoul. You don't know what I'm talking about. Never mind.
I know super mutants. I sort of know ghouls.
Well, basically, they're both affected by radiation. Just because I turn into inhuman beasts.
Just because I just told you I know what they are, okay. And just because I haven't played Fallout, Aaron, I'm a gamer, okay, with a capital gay, and so what is it? Like just because I haven't played a game doesn't mean I don't have the knowledge about it. Okay,
well, I didn't know.
Okay, well, I said I did, and then you explained it anyway.
Well, anyways, in a similar scenario, I would want to die as soon as possible and hopefully not get reincarnated. So.
Okay, so you just you changed this from like a fun debate where it's like we had a scoreboard, and on mine I had friends and on yours you Annalise. Had tomato, and then now you just like you gave yourself a negative point where it's just like suicide. Like
well, I don't know if I could kill myself. I don't know if I'm like capable of that, but if faced with a situation, I don't know, I would hope that reincarnation isn't the way that things are, and probably find a way to end my suffering as soon as possible.
All right, so I win. I would survive longer.
Probably.
All right.
Since you apparently have the mental fortitude to do so.
I think I would. I mean, maybe it depends like who close to me has died. Like if I don't know. Like if like all the people like closest to me have like died, where it's like Melissa Annalise family, then it's like maybe not. But it's like there's nothing more like relationship building than like trauma and kind of like hardship, you know? So it's like maybe I just meet like, you know,
Lee.
No, maybe I just meet like, you know, random. You're interrupting me, Aaron.
Well, okay.
The Lee was funny. The Kenny was too far.
Right.
But what is it? I was just gonna say like random Joe Schmo. Like I don't even know this guy right now. And then it's like, but it's like we become brothers. You know what I mean? Like we have been through thick and thin. He was there when Melissa died. He was there when Annalise died.
Oh my God.
And it's like I was there when his loved ones died. So now it's like we are like, you know, we're thick. We're thick as thieves. We're dummy thick as thieves.
Okay.
Have you watched The Walking Dead?
I actually tried, but I did not.
How far did you get?
The first episode.
Wow.
I tried this when I was, when I was like really big. I must have been either 12 or 13. And I tried to watch it on demand, but for whatever reason, I did not get very far. So
Well,
I am vaguely aware of the plot.
It is a great concept. I love the comic book. I stopped watching the show like halfway through, kind of thinking about picking it back up again because I've been hearing my downstairs neighbor watching it. And I hear the theme song like 2 or 3 times a day. And I'm like, man, I kind of miss it. Like it was that was like one of my like early introductions to horror. But I think like when it comes to like mental fortitude, I don't think, me personally I think like no one really knows like who they like truly are until the moment comes. Where it's like, you know, you could ask yourself like, oh, could I like kill someone? You know what I mean? And it's like, I think I would say no, but if I'm faced with like a life or death situation, then like I think I could, but I really wouldn't know unless I really was in like a life or death situation. Now I don't want to be, but an example of this that I really love, which I don't know if this is like based on a true story or not, but there was a book that I read in high school where it's called The Red Badge of Courage.
Okay.
It's like a very short book. I can't remember if it's set in like I can't remember when it's set, like what war it's set. But basically like, well, here, wait, I'm going to look it up now because that's upsetting me. Basically the main character, he kind of goes through this like whole journey where this war starts and he at first he's like really excited. It's like all of the dudes are going off to war and he's like, yo, I'm going to go off to war. Like I'm pumped. Like, let's get hype. Let's kill some dudes. And he's a real, I don't know, like dude bro about it basically. What is it? And he's real pumped for it. Just like, yo, I'm going to be a man. I'm going to like fight for my country or whatever. Okay, so I looked it up. It's set during the Civil War, and the main character's fighting for the Union.
Okay.
So then he goes off to war. He goes through the training, and as he's going through the training, he's like, holy frick, this is actually really intense. Like, I am kind of getting more scared. And the closer he gets to, like, actual battle, the more nervous he gets. And he starts getting in his head, like, I guess let me say, like, this is an old book, but, like, I guess I'm kind of, like, spoiling a lot of it, like half of it. So I don't know. I guess skip ahead if you don't want spoilers because this book is pretty good. But maybe the spoilers will make you want to read the book. But it gets him so psyched out of the war where he's like, no, I'm just a coward. I'm a traitor. I'm like the first sign of battle. I'm going to run. You know what I mean? It's like I could be killed for that like crime, but that's what I have to do to like survive. And that's who I am. And I feel like I've never been in war, but I really like related to that internal conflict and that kind of like not knowing who you are and kind of doubting yourself. And then, you know, he spends like a good chunk of the book worried about it, but then like a battle suddenly breaks out, and then it's like his training kicks in, and he's just like a good soldier, where it's just like, yo, I'm fighting, I'm shooting, I'm killing dudes. And then when he like snaps out of it, he's like, whoa, like he's like, I wasn't who I thought I was. And I thought that was like really inspiring to me, because it's like he thought he was a coward and a traitor, but like really when like push came to shove, or when like that moment came, he like proved himself. And so what is it? So all that to say is that I feel like I relate to that, and I feel like that ties into some of my philosophy and ideology of just like humanity. And I feel like I believe that about myself and about most people, where we really don't know like who we are until like we're tested and we're faced with like that situation. So like I can't say I would have the mental fortitude for a zombie apocalypse. I think I might, depending on how it shakes out, or how like my personal story shakes out, but like really wouldn't know unless it happened. Yeah.
I thought it was going to be about the Afghanistan war at first, because I feel like I've read a lot of stories about like soldiers and veterans from that war that, you know, after 9/11, you know, a lot of people, let's say younger people, like immediately signed up for the army like after they graduated high school because of what had just happened. And then they came back just kind of, you know, broken, not realizing the realities of war. So
yeah. Well, I think that's a good assumption, but I also think that maybe I feel like this is too deep of like a thing, but like I guess for now, because we should probably move on, but I was gonna say that like maybe it just speaks to like some of the cyclical nature of like time and history kind of repeating itself and stuff like that.
Do you know when it was published?
The book was published in 1895.
Are you for real?
Yes.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was going to be like an allegory for the Afghanistan war, but no.
No, it's an old book set in the Civil War.
What year?
1895.
Yeah, so it was like after the war ended.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Tomatoes.
Speaking of tomatoes, are you a tomato person?
No.
You don't like tomatoes?
I can indulge in a good bottle of ketchup, but tomatoes, they're juicy and they're acidic, and I don't like either of those things.
Okay. Tomato sauce?
I mean, I like tomato sauce on like pizzas and like in spaghetti, but yeah.
Okay. No.
I feel like it's tomato byproducts. I don't want an actual tomato.
Okay.
Get that out of here.
Not cooked?
Like just a regular tomato?
Well, I mean, you know, you have cooked tomatoes, they're like ingredients and things.
I don't know. This is a concept unfamiliar to me, but I think I wouldn't like it.
You've never had a cooked tomato before?
Just by itself?
No, not by itself, like in something.
Oh, maybe. But I probably didn't. I don't know. I feel like most of them, when I think of tomato on a food, I think of like a burger. And then I think maybe in like some Thai food or like some Japanese food or something where it's like kind of mixed in.
I don't think there's many tomatoes in Japanese food.
Maybe just Thai then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, anyways, all that to say, I used to be like you. I used to be a tomato hater, but I've slowly come around to the concept of a tomato. I used to eat at Jimmy John's a lot, especially when I was in school, because it's like right by Bellhaven. And, you know, some of the sandwiches, they have tomatoes on them. I'm like, okay, I might tolerate a tomato on a sandwich. And surprisingly, it was fine. But yesterday, or maybe the day before, I can't remember, I saw this post on Reddit. on the subreddit called, we'll say crappy food porn. And it was something that did not fit the sub at all. It was a really nice picture of some sliced tomatoes with some mayo and some, I'm assuming, salt and pepper on some bread, a sandwich, we'll say. And I thought, man, that looks really good. I want to try that. So today, for lunch, I had 2 tomato sandwiches, and they were probably the best thing I've eaten. They were so good. I am a tomato fan now. I really liked it.
Is this the story of your tomatoification?
Yes. This is my tomatoification.
Oh man. Yeah, no, I don't think I'm sold. Like it's probably just tell me the ingredients of a tomato sandwich.
All right. We got 2 slices of bread, obviously, because this is a sandwich. Put some mayo on both slices of the bread. Put some Italian seasoning. I was going to use oregano, but then I saw that I did not have any oregano, even though I'm pretty sure I did have some and I don't know where it went, but we're not going to talk about it. Italian seasoning on the mayo. Tomato slices. Not thick, but not thin either. On the bread, on the mayo, on the Italian seasoning. Salt and pepper on the tomatoes. Bread on everything. Sandwich. That's it.
See, the thing is, you lost me at mayo. Like, you're describing 2 of the main ingredients that I will request not to be on any burger or sandwich that I order from a restaurant.
Interesting. Apparently, mayo is like a divisive topic. You either love it or you hate it.
I mean, is that divisive?
Yes.
I Googled divisive.
My God.
Well, what is it? I don't know. People aren't fighting in the streets arguing.
There's a lot of ardent mayo hate online. I'll say that.
Really?
Yes.
Well, see, that's the problem. You're online.
Okay.
You ask someone on the street, hey, yeah, yo, man, you like tomatoes? He won't be like, yo, what the fuck you just say to me? I mean, maybe he would. I don't know. I've never tried it. Okay. I'm kind of too scared to. I think the tomato hate or the mayo hate online has deterred me. I'm just kidding. I haven't seen any mayo hate online. I feel like the only mayo debates I have seen online are not of if you like mayo or if you don't. It's the brand of mayo you like. Yeah. And Miracle Whip, depending on where you live, there's a right answer and there's a wrong answer. But it depends on where you live.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
do you have a mayo preference?
I do, actually. I can give a short ranking here. So I'll tell you which ones are bad. Miracle Whip is not mayo. I don't know what it is, but it's not good, and I don't like it. It's nasty. The texture, the flavor, the consistency is all wrong. And that's basically the only one that I kind of hate. Kraft is fine. Heinz, also fine. I'll say the brands that I do like. Duke's has won me over. I think that one's region specific in that it's only really found in like the Southeast. But also different types of mayo. Mayonesa, which is like, I guess, Mexican mayo. Put a little lime in it. That's really good. I like that. So yeah, I do have preferences. I
just wanted to know your number one. I didn't want a whole tier list.
Well, you got one.
An update on the Google search of the word divisive. Okay. It says tending to cause disagreement or hostility between people. I don't think people are getting hostile over tomato. Or mayo. Tomato. My mom's calling me. Should I answer on the podcast? Yeah, this will be fun maybe.
On speaker?
No.
Oh.
Hello? Okay, bye. Did you hear her end?
I heard, Charlie Brown adults.
She didn't say that.
No, have you never seen like a Charlie Brown special?
I thought you meant literally like she said the word like Charlie Brown adults.
No.
Anyway, so I don't think there's hostility between people over mayo.
Okay. Maybe you didn't participate in the Great Mayo War of 2013, but I did, and I have the scars to show for it. So I'd rather we not talk about it.
Should I look this up on Wikipedia?
I'd rather we not talk about it.
The Great Mayo War.
I said I'd rather we not talk about it. I'm getting really bad memories. I'm going to start crying.
Let's see. The first thing that pops up is Cinco de Mayo. World War III, and then more Cinco de Mayo. Aaron,
What?
you lied to me.
Just because it's not in Wikipedia doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
It's not on Google. You want me to go to the second page? Just because it's not on Google
doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
I'll go to the second page.
Maybe it's in the dark web.
If you demand that of me.
Maybe it's not indexed.
Wait, how long? Oh, wait. How do you go to the second page? Does it just scroll infinitely?
It might do that now.
Oh,
I don't know about
weird.
iPhones, but
well,
yeah, I guess it does now. That's weird. It didn't used to do that.
All right, so I would say
that's weird. Strange.
That audience, you can take my word with a grain of salt, but I am a great tomato ward denier, or a great Mayo ward denier.
Why do you keep saying tomato?
Because they sound the same. They're 3 letters off.
Okay.
What is it?
I also fought in the Great Tomato War, but we don't have
I am a great
that.
tomato and a great Mayo war denier.
Okay.
Didn't happen. George Bush made it up. It was an inside job. The fact that he made it up.
Have you heard? That was okay. The Georgia Guidestones.
No.
Somebody went and blew them up.
What is this?
The Georgia Guidestones.
What are those?
They're in Georgia. I don't know where, actually. They're
they
somewhere
guide
in Georgia.
you? They're stones?
Well, the thing is, a lot of people, they have these like weird conspiracy theories about it because nobody knows who put it there, and it's got, you know.
So it's the Stonehenge of America.
Basically, yeah, that's what it's called.
Okay.
But it's got like these messages in like 8 or 9 languages. I think the one that people center on is like keep the population under like 500 million. Something about bodily autonomy. Something about justness and whatever. But either yesterday or like 2 days ago, I don't know, time is weird, somebody like blew one of them up, and now they've been like demolished, and they've been there since roughly the 80s.
I have never heard of these, and I did not know someone blew them up.
Yeah, well, now you do.
Well, would you quantify this as the middle?
No.
Is it time for another question? Is it question time?
No. we just did a question. We did like a short segment of not question.
All right.
Well.
I want you to keep that silence in.
Fine.
Well, what? I don't know.
Do you have something else you would like to talk about that's not question related?
No, I like the questions.
Fine. You do your little question.
I mean, we don't have to.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, we have 3 questions.
We've only been going for about 40 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't want to go too long. We stick to an hour and a half or so.
When have we ever stuck to an hour and a half?
I'm saying it's like a range.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, well, see, we have an uneven amount of topics per se, because you had 3 topics, I believe, and I had like 3 questions. So there is no middle.
One of which you didn't want to talk about.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Well, I don't know. You never said okay. So I just assumed we were still talking about it.
Interesting. Okay. There is my okay.
Okay. So now, yeah, that seems like a perfect time for another question.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. I got to pick one for David.
Okay.
It's a shame that David and Melissa they both have kind of like a very similar question. I want to ask both of them, but like,
are they phrased differently?
Oh, barely. Maybe we just do one and then save another one for like a later date. But like acknowledge that it's kind of the same. Oh, okay. This is a fun one from David. Not too simple, not too deep. What kind of music have you been listening to lately?
Oh, let me talk about it. Let me talk about it. Oh, you shouldn't have asked this one because I'm about to go on for a long time. Let me talk about it. Era today put out a new song called Pull from the Ghost. It is so good. Oh my god, it is phenomenal. Aside from that, that's also the name of their tour, which I guess, that anyway, which I'm going to be at next Friday in Birmingham, a hometown tour. I'm going to lose my domestication at this place, but in a good way, because it's standing room only, and I'm going to try to get up at the front because I'm short and I can't see over all these grown men. So it's going to be a great time. I'm going to have so much fun, I hope. But aside from that, as I was moving, I was essentially listening to this one album, more or less on repeat. It is by the band Icy Stars, New Demons. Not their first album. It came out in like 2013. But man, that is a no-skip album for me. I think it's just banger after banger, just all good songs. And for some reason, I guess I hadn't really been like listening to it. It's been in my Spotify library just unacknowledged for a while, and I decided to pick it up again last week, and it's a fantastic album. What can I say? So yeah.
That wasn't as long as I expected.
I'm containing myself.
For those at home that don't know of these bands you've named, what genre are they?
Okay, so Icy Stars, they are considered electronicore. Era, they are more metalcore / gent. And those are the only two that I mentioned.
What's the difference between like electronic core and electronic?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So, electronic core, you see, there's two parts to this word, electronic and core.
I'm not 5. Just like
I want to explain it well though.
Okay.
So basically, it takes elements of hardcore, post-hardcore, and honestly, looking at most electronic core artists, it's mostly metalcore and electronic elements. So basically, specifically with Icy Stars, even though, okay, so it's 2013, right? Skrillex was huge at this time, and dubstep was like a really big thing. So basically, it sounds kind of corny, but honestly, it works for this album. They have elements of dubstep over like a traditional, let's say, metalcore or 2013 metalcore track. And it does sound corny, but it just really works. Like, the harmony is good. So, yeah.
What?
Oh, and electronic, it's just, electronic, that's kind of a broad term.
I don't know if this is correct. I feel like I'm not good with music genres. I just like listen to it. It's like, oh yeah, it's like, it's indie, it's rock, it's alternative, whatever alternative is. Yeah. It's pop. I feel like there's too many branching paths and too many like vague definitions that I'm not like in music enough to know them. But it's like, I hear electronic, I think of Daft Punk. Okay. And then I hear hardcore and I don't think of anything because I don't know what hardcore is.
Okay.
I feel like I can guess what metalcore is. I guess it's a combination of metal and hardcore. Still don't know what hardcore is.
Okay. Honestly, I'm having a hard time coming up with a definition for hardcore. But basically, I think that's what emerged after like punk. So not quite post-punk, but which is its own separate thing. But it's what came after. I don't want to be wrong. I'm going to look it up. But it puts you in that frame of mind.
I think, well, okay, so I think this like, I don't think the genre, describing genres, I don't think it's just a me issue. It seems like it's like genres are kind of like very fluid and like somewhat vague, and artists are like always kind of challenging them and changing them and combining them so that it does make them really hard to define.
Yeah, and I would say that's probably a thing in metal as well, or just metal in general, and I guess also metalcore because that's mostly what I'm into. But you'll have an album and it has a bunch of songs on it, and they can be, one song can be more post-hardcore, another song can be like deathcore. So, things can be fluid like that. And, as a metal enthusiast, there are a lot of subgenres and people like to be weird about it sometimes. But honestly, I like the fact that there's a lot of subgenres because then, it's the flavor, the flavor. Because you get a lot of, it doesn't have to like adhere to one specific like formula. It can basically be whatever it wants. And then people just kind of ascribe a genre to it. Because there's this one band. They're Swedish. They're called I don't want to mispronounce this. Vildhjärta, which means wild heart in Swedish. And they're basically gent. They have a lot of inspiration from Meshuggah, which is like the classic gent band. But
okay.
Just roll with me here. But they're not gent, they're thal, which is something that their fans kind of came up with for them. So, it's like gent, but Swedish. So yeah. Oh, I didn't really explain gent, did I? Basically,
I don't want you to explain gent. I'm getting lost, Arin. I'm like, what's electronic core? And then it's like, well, I need to define hardcore. And then now you're talking about like Swedish genres of music. Like,
okay.
It's a little too much for me.
Well, you shouldn't have asked the music question, Joseph. You should have known better. I knew I was going to get into it. I've done it many times before, including on this podcast.
I don't remember this. Well, maybe, I don't know.
Because you zoned out.
Yeah. Well, I think, what else? So that's what you've been listening to?
Yes.
Okay. Me, I asked this question because I also really wanted to answer it because I feel like we both want to answer it just because we want to like recommend what we like.
Well, I didn't want to recommend it. I just wanted to talk about it.
Oh, I want to recommend it.
Actually, I take that back. I do recommend it.
Exactly. I don't listen to like a whole lot of music. I feel like I listen to more like podcasts than I do music. But I do appreciate, some good music on Pandora.
Which is the inferior music service, but go on.
That was unnecessary. Honestly, it's hard to meet anyone that uses Pandora. It's
exactly.
Kind of sad.
Why do you think that is, Joseph? Why do you think that is?
Because, I don't know. I think...
You'll probably meet people pirating music more often than you meet people using Pandora. Like...
I think... I would argue that as far as, like, if you're paying for both, then I would maybe agree that, like, Spotify is better. But as far as, like, free goes, if you're using, like, free Spotify or free Pandora, I feel like free Pandora is better. But it also is like, it is also my kind of taste. I don't like, well, I guess I've learned how to use Pandora. I haven't learned how to use Spotify. I did download it once. I made an account. I tried to use it. And it was kind of like too complicated for me. I just wanted to like click a station and just have something start playing. And
then Spotify, they have something for that. It's called it's just called stations.
Well, see, yeah, but I was already deep into like the Pandora ecosystem, so it's like I would have had to like rebuild my algorithm and my preferences from the ground up, and I didn't want to do that. And let's see. So anyway, like if you don't want to pay, I like Pandora more. And a lot of people, they be paying for Spotify. And, if it's worth it to you, that's fine. But I don't want to pay for it.
Okay.
If I want to, like, select specific songs, I'll just go to YouTube, Yeah,
but then you got ads, which, I mean, I guess you already have that if you have, like, Pandora. And then, like, the quality's not as good.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because anytime I listen to something on YouTube versus on Spotify, it's, like, it's different. I think the audio files are like actually different because when I have it set on Spotify that it downloads like high quality, whatever that means. And I mean, YouTube is just YouTube. And I have a equalizer, like a dedicated equalizer app on my phone that I have set. And that's like consistent across like all platforms, whether they're playing audio. But it's still different on YouTube. So that's why I don't listen to music on YouTube. Because it don't sound good.
Well, I will say that in terms of what's on Pandora, that I kind of like listen to in the morning, at night, or like if I'm like doing some chores or something. There's two artists that like kind of I've been listening to a bit lately, and that is Joji. I really like his kind of chill, laid back music, very very just relaxing and What is it? It's relaxing and it is
vibes.
Yeah. And then I Googled it because I wanted to see like what genre it classifies as. According to, I don't know what website this is. I don't know. I guess it's just Google saying about.
Yeah.
The genre classifies as R&B and soul.
Interesting.
So, bit of Joji, and Joji adjacent. Then there's also an artist that is somewhat indie, but it seems like he's progressively getting more popular. For some reason, Target, I don't know how often you shop at Target, but they are like always playing his music, which makes him less indie, I feel like. Not a bad thing. Huh?
I think indie is just whether or not you're on a label.
Really?
Yes, because indie means independent, so.
I know what indie means.
Okay. You were acting like you didn't.
Well, I know it from like the video games industry, and
yeah, it means you self-publish, essentially.
But things can have an indie vibe while not being like technically indie, and like independent doesn't, at least in the games industry, it doesn't mean exclusively self-publishing. I'm pretty sure.
I thought it did. I have no idea what.
Like, because you can have a publisher, you just can't have like a big publisher.
Okay.
Yeah. But could be different for music. But anyway, I'm just saying like when I think of indie, I just think of like lesser known, smaller, has like, like
3 followers on Instagram.
Is A24 technically indie still?
Well, see, I don't know what the definition is for like movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I would assume it's like not connected to a big studio.
Yeah.
So like you have your quintessential big studios like Paramount, Warner, all of them. I don't know. I'm gonna look it up.
Well, I think indie, because it's like A24, I would say is an indie studio. It's independent. It's not with like a big conglomerate, but it is really big. And so does it really fit? It's gotten really big. So does it still fit with like the indie definition?
Well, an independent movie, indie film, is a feature film or short film that is produced outside of the major studio system. So again, like Warner, Paramount, Disney, all of them. In addition to being produced and distributed by independent entertainment companies, which again, I would assume that means not connected to the studio system.
But A24 is a studio system.
No, because they're not like the big ones.
But it's still, I'm just saying, like, it's not a big studio system, but it's still a studio system.
Well, no, I'm saying as it relates to film, the studio system is Paramount, Warner, Disney, etc., etc. Like,
interesting.
All of them.
Well,
most of them have been eaten up or like merged now, but those.
Anyway, I can't remember if I said the name.
You have not?
Okay, it's Dayglow.
I've heard of that.
Yeah. He's been popping up everywhere. Apparently I am older than him, which, I don't like that. I liked when people were older than me. I don't like being older than people.
It's a weird phenomenon, like, especially online. A lot of influencers, they're like babies, basically. And 16. It's like, oh my God, this is weird.
But this music is kind of like vibes based.
He's older than me.
Yeah.
By like a month and some days.
Congratulations, you're a baby. What is it? So, vibes based, chill, laid back, kind of funky sometimes. Google is labeling him as alternative / indie.
Which I feel like neither of those things really mean anything when it comes to describing how a specific piece of music sounds.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the production of it, I guess. Which I guess is why people are getting into the weeds with genres now, so you can actually know like how something might sound. Like pop could be anything, but hyper pop, that's like a specific thing.
Well, I feel like some of these genres are like vibes based, where like
they're all vibes based.
But I'm saying, but it's less. Maybe I'm just saying like it's less like strict definitions, and it's like if someone tells me like, oh, this is like an indie song or an indie band, like I have a picture in my head, and then like that can be a very like wide range of like a picture, but like, or a sound. It can be a very wide range, but like I feel like there's very few things that would like fall outside of that, maybe. Is alternative based on how it's produced?
No, I think it's just, I guess, like outside of the norm. I don't know. Also, I feel like considering there are a lot more indie music people, as in outside of a label, there isn't really a need to like stick to these, I guess, more overarching genres like rock. Like, what is rock? How do you define that? You know, what is I don't know. I feel like that one's the only one. Rock, pop, like, you know. I feel like with everything else, you kind of know what you're getting. Like R&B, rhythm and blues, you know, that soul, that one you know what you're getting into. But I feel like with some of these, they're just very nebulous. There's actually a website where I think you can put in the artist and it'll show you what genres they're in, and also you can click on that specific genre and they get really specific, and you can get other artists like that. And I think it also makes a Spotify playlist, so sorry, of all of those like songs that are in that specific like cloud. I can't remember the name of it though. It's a really interesting website if you're interested into like specific genres, I guess. What is it called? I don't know. I don't know what to look for.
I will say that we've been on genre a while, but we're not done with music because I gave my Pandora answers first, but there was one part that I particularly wanted to give for my answer, because this is like mostly what I'm listening to. The Dayglow and the Joji, those are just kind of what I'm listening, kind of like every now and then. But it's like what I'm really spending most of my time listening to is so a while back, a couple of years ago, in a film class, we were editing or something, and it's like we're kind of encouraged to listen to music while we do it.
We were?
I thought we were. Maybe we weren't. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of just homework in general.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think we were.
Well, I think I mostly edited visually, and then I added the music. I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but
the opposite.
I mean, maybe it depended. It depended on the project, but I'll say that maybe I was just thinking of like homework in general, not specifically film. So we'll just say a couple of years back, working on schoolwork, and I was like, I want to listen to some music while I work, but like, maybe I'm tired of what I had been listening to. I think I was listening to the lo-fi hip hop and like beats to study to channel a lot, and that was good for a time. But I got tired of it because it kind of started getting same old. So I Googled 3 magical words on YouTube just to see what came up. And it wasn't 3 words, it was 4. Relaxing video game music, just to see what came up. And there is...
You've been listening to the Fez soundtrack?
No.
Okay.
Well, I don't have anything against it. I'm just saying there is a like rabbit hole of YouTube videos and YouTube channels where it's purely just like compilations of video game music. Just like relaxing, calm, sleepy stuff like that. And they're really good. And like I feel like it's exposed me to so much like great music that I would have never heard because I probably wouldn't play a lot of like the games. A lot of it's from like JRPGs and other older games that I probably will never get the chance to play. But man, like ever since then, those like couple of years, it's like I find a channel and I just like listen to like their whole channel. And so there's one channel where they had like, I don't know, like I feel like 30 something videos, and they're nearly all like 3 hours each. And it's just a compilation, and Fez was in there.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Go on.
Not like the full soundtracks, but like like some of the best songs from each, or maybe the most like popular songs from each. And yeah, and so I go through one channel, and then what is it? I'm like, oh well, that sucks, and so then I move on to the next. I find another channel and I listen to that, and there's a lot of them. Sadly, however, when I got done with the first one and I started on the second one, I got like 2 videos in, 2 or 3 videos in, and then the channel got taken down because I guess the tricky thing of like copyright music, and a lot of like when you have a compilation from a ton of different games made by a ton of different publishers, I feel like there's a big chance that like one of them won't like it and one of them will take you down. Yeah. And so that channel got taken down. Then the original got taken down, and I was really sad about that because it's like was really impacted, or I just really appreciated all like the work that went into those compilations and like how good they were. And you can actually find like a re-upload of the first one, but there's still, even with those 2 getting taken down, I still have like 3 or 4 more channels where it's just like hours and hours of compilations of relaxing video game music, and I love it. Let's see. I'm currently on, so the first channel that I listened to was called Fruddle, and then the next channel was called Vulpixel, which is just a Pokemon. Now what I'm on is Super Red Games, and they have a picture of KK Slider as their avatar, and you go through and it just says like video game music for studying, and it's just like compilations, and there's a couple of them, and let me tell you, I'm going through them. I'm on number 11 already. But yeah, I really like those. They're very relaxing. They're really good. And that's why I wanted to answer this question, because I was like, maybe you'll check it out. Maybe Melissa, David, Patricia will. I guess it can be a little difficult to like listen to music like on YouTube, because you just have to have like your phone kind of on in your pocket, or you pay for like YouTube Premium, or you play it over like a speaker. I guess the YouTube aspect adds some complications, but I think it is worth it. I think they are quite good.
Well, I do enjoy a few game soundtracks. I think Oblivion's pretty good for like, the relaxing aspect. Fez has some really good tracks. Some of them not so relaxing, but still really good. I actually have a playlist that is just the sunrise and sunset themes in Minecraft, but I find that sometimes when I listen to it, I get kind of sad because it just reminds me of a bygone era. So I can't listen to it too often.
The Minecraft?
Yeah. It's just, it hits different now. And what else? I do really like RimWorld's soundtrack, but it's not available on Spotify. Like, the tracks are on there, but they're grayed out, which means you can't listen to them. I think you can buy the soundtrack on Steam, but I'm not going to, like, listen to music on my computer. So, yeah. Tropico 4. Oh, my God. That soundtrack is so good. Nothing but bops, bangers, and jams. Because it's all just, like, I guess Colombian music almost. Even though it's, like, set in the... It's like, I don't know. The island itself, it's not like a real island, but it's supposed to be like an analog for, I think, like Cuba or something. But basically that kind of music.
So wouldn't that be Cuban music? Not Colombian?
Yes, however, I was watching Narcos, and they got some bops, bangers, and jams in there as well, and I found them to be similar. Salsa, is it salsa? No. It's a specific genre, but for some reason I said Colombian, because they sounded similar. Anyways, I haven't played any of the newer Tropico games because I heard 5 was bad and then 6 was okay, but I wasn't about to buy it when it was like full price, and I think it is still full price. But anyways, all that to say is that I enjoy a good game soundtrack every now and then, but that's not my go-to thing to listen to.
Have you ever have you watched a Goofy movie?
Yes.
I watched it like a year or two ago, and I immediately was like, I want to go to iTunes and buy Stand Out. Problem is Disney sucks.
Yeah.
And you cannot go to iTunes and only buy Stand Out. You have to buy the full album. And I was like, Disney, you've lost my $1. You're not getting 10 of them. You could have gotten one, but you're greedy.
On Spotify. Stand Out. Let's see. Tevin Campbell? Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. A song just chilling by itself.
I can listen to it on YouTube. I wanted to own it, you know?
Okay.
And I feel like I could find it on Pandora. But it's like, you know, have to listen to like an ad or something. I wanted to own it. I wanted to have it on like my official, like just download it on my phone whenever I want, even though that's not really how I listen to music.
Or
it's just a badge of honor.
You could just get an MP3 from somewhere. MP3 Skull, MP3B. Or no, it's
illegal?
BMP3. Well, you know, maybe.
I think we should move on from music.
Okay. What was my other topic? Oh, freaking internet debacle. I don't even know if I'm going to have internet by the time this podcast needs to go out. So, basically, what had happened was I moved this Sunday. And in moving, you gotta move all your utilities. So I thought, it'll be fine. I can just have my AT&T at my new place. Nope, because AT&T does not have fiber at my new location. They only have 25 megabits per second. And that is nothing. That is dust. Grains of sand. That's how little that is.
You had fiber optic in your building?
Well, I guess it was fiber, but I had 350 up and 350 down. So I'm assuming that's fiber.
Like tested? Like that was like the speed?
Yes.
That's really good.
I know. And that wasn't even their like best package. I could probably have gotten gigabit, but I probably would have been paying like $100 for that, and I wasn't about to do that. I thought 350 enough for me. New place. No AT&T. That's fine. I have other options. I looked at Xfinity. They don't have there's a name for it. Basically, they have very low upload speeds, which is not good for me, a person who uploads things frequently, and also a person who would like to work from home at some point in the future. Which I don't know if there's nothing really to announce, but I kind of want to change jobs, but that's neither here nor there.
You haven't, like, is it just being tired? Well, I mean, you got the hiccups. I know, those are burps. Is it being tired of your job or just wanting a different job?
Honestly, I'm not tired of my job. It's just that, and this is going to sound like a weird thing to complain about, but it just feels like too easy what I'm doing. There's no like challenge to it. I'm not like creatively challenged, which, I mean, I guess you could say I could challenge myself, but I don't know. I feel like I need direction, and I am basically everything. Like, I am the entire video department at my job, and it's like, I can basically make just anything and they're going to accept it because I'm probably like the best they've had so far as a videographer has gone. I really hope no one from work listens to this. Otherwise, this is going to be awkward. But anyways.
Do you continue?
Being a videographer is not something that I wanted. I always only wanted to be like a video editor because I feel like my editing skills are much stronger than my camera skills. But recently I have been using my own camera, like my personal camera, for work stuff, and I feel like I've gotten pretty good at doing that. So I find that to be very enjoyable. But it's just, again, I still think I'm much better as an editor than as a camera operator, we'll say. I feel like working in an office is just kind of harshing my mellow because I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before, but I've definitely told my mom this, but at work I only do maybe like 4 hours of actual work, and then the other 4 hours out of 8 are just spent looking busy. Like with what we have going on now, I have actually been pretty busy, but once that ends, and it is going to end soon, it's back to normal now, I guess. And honestly, the job that I do have, it could be done from home, except from, select days when we like actually have a shoot. Like, there's no reason for me to be in the office like 24/7. And also, it's just the fact that I'm honestly not really getting paid enough, especially for what I do. I don't think, even though it is...
But you just said you're working, like, when you're not busy, you're working, like, 4 hours out of the day.
I know, but I still have a lot of responsibilities, and the base pay for, like, a videographer is, like, more than $35,000. It's more than that. And not only am I doing videography, I'm doing marketing, I'm doing copywriting and copy editing, I'm doing social media management, and that all fetches a pretty penny elsewhere. So only getting $35,000 a year for doing all of that stuff, I don't think that's enough, honestly. And I could probably get more elsewhere. But given that where I work is a nonprofit, the way their funding works is that it all comes from grants. I feel like I'm giving away too much, but I think it'll be fine. Most of their funding comes from grants, and you have to, like, justify each dollar that you spend to the people who are giving the grants. So I don't know if that has something to do with it. Honestly, I don't think so, but I just feel like I could be earning a lot more for what I'm currently doing. And now that I have...
Does the job title and the responsibilities really that matter when, like, does that really matter that much when, like, you're not doing a lot of work?
It's not that I'm not doing a lot of work. It is my responsibilities and the skills that are being utilized and the education that I have. So videographer, I would not say that that's, like, entry level. I'd say that's, like, a step above entry level. So I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little sanctimonious about it, but I feel like for the fact that I do have a bachelor's degree in a specialized field, I should be making more. Like, I feel like the work that I'm doing is being monetarily undervalued currently. And I have been looking at other positions, and they do pay more. So I don't know, but...
Interesting.
Again...
And you think you could, like, just easily get those?
I don't know about easily. I do have a year of experience under my belt now. And I'm not as desperate as I was before because it took me 8 months to get this job. So I was ready to accept just about anything. So I just wanted to, like, start working and, like, be out on my own and do all the things that come with that. So I think now I can be a little bit more discerning with whatever job I apply for and whatever job I am offered. Like, I don't have to just take anything. And I feel like I can demand a little bit more now that I have been out in the world working for at least a year. And I know, I guess, how these things go. So, yeah. What was I talking about? Internet. So.
I mean, I feel like this is more interesting than internet.
Yeah.
These other jobs, are they local or are they remote?
They're remote. Because I want to do the work from home thing now. Because I feel like when I was living at home, I was kind of, I don't know, not necessarily doing better, but I felt like I had more time to, like, do things. If that makes sense. But
you also didn't have a job.
Yes, but I did. Okay, so I don't know if you know this because you're a fake fan, but I was working for this company called Valnet, and they do not like me. Oh my goodness, I've been yeah, that was a whole debacle. But I worked for them. I
want to know why they don't like you.
Well, I worked for them for a week. I realized they weren't doing things the legit way, and so I quit. And then I made a video about it.
So
I basically exposed them.
So it was, I don't know, fraudulent. And then
the job itself wasn't fraudulent, but the way that they handled things was definitely really shady. They're basically a content farm, if you're familiar with those. Not necessarily on the level of, like, say, a Troom Troom, but they're getting there. And I feel like, you know, content farms are things that are talked about in the YouTube ecosystem a lot, but this one particular company was not being talked about. And I've gotten people reaching out to me, telling me that they used to work for Valnet and things were okay pre-pandemic. Like, their writers for their websites were getting paid, like, actual money for their articles. But then at some point, something happened. They started getting paid less. And I guess the work started to become, lower quality. Because now people who were used to making a certain amount, they started quitting. And then they just started hiring people. And that's why you see wacky articles coming from Screen Rant all the time. It's because their writers are basically just, like, any Joe Schmo off the street. They will hire anybody. Because when I tell you they hired me with the quickness, I emailed them one day and they responded I want to say in less than 10 minutes, which has never happened in any other job that I've applied for, except for the one that was a scam. So, yeah, that was also a little suspicious. But again, I made a whole video about it.
So would you quit your current job before finding a new one?
Absolutely not. That is so silly. I would not do anything like that.
So you're like thinking about looking for a new one.
Yes.
And like finding it, applying for it, getting it, and then you would quit.
Yes. And, you know, I don't want to just like leave them high and dry. I would want to help them find a suitable replacement. So, yeah.
And you really like, I know there's a difference between just like being at home and then like working from home, but do you really think like you'd enjoy working from home?
I think so. I thought I would hate it at first, but, you know, I feel like working from home would really give me more time to like focus on myself. Sounds really cliche, but I don't know. I would actually have time to like, you know, actually cook my food instead of eating out so much, and I could work out more and I could focus on my hobbies more because I'm just at home. There's not somebody breathing over my shoulder the whole time, you know?
But depending on the job, it's not like, I don't know if you necessarily view it this way. I'm kind of assuming, but it's like right now you're at a job where, you know, you're there 8 hours, but you're saying you're only working 4. But it's like, what if like working from home, you're like worked like a mule, and it's like you're working all of those 8 hours. It's not like you're just taking your current job and it's like, oh, I only work 4 hours, and like and then the other 4 hours it's like it's whatever. I'm kind of assuming you're thinking that.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Well, my mom currently works from home, right? And she works part-time, so it's a little bit different. I would be looking for full-time work. But basically she, again, does like 4 hours of work. You know, she gets up, she logs on, she does what she does, and then she basically has the rest of the day to do whatever. And I don't think working full-time is going to be like that, especially if I'm working as like a video editor, which editing is very time-consuming. And, you know, it could be like an actual 8-hour thing, but I feel like it still wouldn't be as tiring though. Because if you think about it now, what I'm doing is I get up every day at around 6:30. I have to do the whole rigmarole of like brushing my teeth and showering and putting on clothes, and I have to get in my car, get on the interstate.
You shower every day?
Yes.
It's bad for you.
I think, ooh, that's a big one.
That's like not even the size of my pinky.
Okay, but his legs are long.
Oh boy. Daddy. It's not a daddy long legs. Oh no.
It fell.
I'm pretty sure it's dead, but it fell into the light or past the light. What is it? Sorry to interject. Just showering every day is bad for your skin.
I feel like that's a rumor that smelly people came up with to justify being smelly.
I'm pretty sure that's a fact that scientists came up with because people are like drying out their skin and also racking up their water bills.
Well, I also put on lotion every day, so it kind of.
See, you wouldn't need to buy lotion if you didn't shower every day, or you wouldn't need to do as much lotion.
Well, I don't know what to say to you. I'm black. It's a black thing. We put on lotion. We don't want to be ashy.
Lotion is not a black thing.
Okay, but the frequency and the amount in which we put on, I feel like, is very unique to African Americans.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyways, I do all of that in the morning. You know, I don't really have time to like even really wake up sometimes. And then I'm in an office all day, just kind of sitting there, you know, with the expectation that I have to work when there's really other things I want to do. And there's other things that I could be doing because I'm not like super busy all the time. Sometimes I will have things that I have to work on, and I will have busy days and busy weeks, especially with what we're doing now. But eventually, like I said, that'll end and I'll be in between projects, just kind of, you know, doing revisions on some stuff and like assisting in other areas. But I feel like I'm not a super fast editor, but I feel like I finish things really quickly. Like for instance, when I first started working there last August, it's almost been a year now, which is so wild to me. But when I first started working there, I was basically working on stuff like all the time. And they had like a backlog of things that had to be worked on. And I finished those, I want to say, in October. And we're only like just now getting to them now. So there's a lot of stuff that I worked on literally a year ago that is only just now getting to be like reviewed. So it also feels to me that what I do is not that high of a priority, which makes sense considering the nature of my workplace. But also it's just like, okay, what is incentivizing me to like finish this video right now if it's not going to be looked at until like months from now, you know? So.
Well, I think, so I feel like based on what you said, I feel like my assumption is correct, where it feels like you think it would be the same amount of work, but you just don't have to go into an office and you wouldn't have a boss glancing at you like, oh, you better be working even though you don't have anything to do. Mm-hmm. I feel like from home, I feel like it probably depends on the job, but I feel like from home, you would either have much more work to do or you would have the same amount of work to do and a lot of free time, but less pay because you're not in an office. Why would they pay you to just sit at home if you're not doing work?
Well, it's not like you're sitting at home and not doing work. You're still available during that time. Like you're clocked in during that whole time, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say, okay, we need to discuss something. We need a meeting. You have to be available for that. And if you're not, obviously that's going to reflect badly on you. So it's not, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not like you're just sitting at home, right? Because, I mean, basically it's the same thing. You do 4 hours of work, 4 hours of whatever actual work you have, and then you're just kind of, I don't know, I guess waiting. But since you're at home, you can actually like accomplish tasks and stuff. So I don't know. I haven't figured out, but I feel like I'm not articulating it correctly. I feel like working from home will be better for me personally. It's definitely not for everyone, but I feel like I could take that and make it something positive. I don't know.
I think, well, no, I think like you can like feel how you want about it. I just think like for me, like my brain, like you won't really like know the details until you're like in it, until you have like a specific job you're working it and like the details unfold. I think like I'm thinking about John, who was working with me, is now working from home, and I mean, I'm kind of bummed because it's like we really got along well at work and now I don't see him at all. And he, it's kind of like a stretch to say that he's like miserable, but he seems a bit busier, but then again, he also seems like he isn't because he's logging a lot more movies on Letterboxd. Yeah. But then at the same time, like I invited him to go see Elvis and he was like, oh yeah, like I can make it. And he bought his ticket and he was like, yeah, I can make it. And then he's like, he texted me, he was like, oh, I can't, I have a meeting with my boss, you know? So it's like, I wonder the way I interpret that, which that's like just one incident. But the way I interpret that is like, oh man, like maybe he's like really busy working really hard and like he's stuck at home and like his boss is breathing down his neck. Like he can't even go see Elvis with me. He's got a meeting, you know?
Yeah, but
what?
This is John we're talking about.
Yeah, I know. But it's like that was the reason, you know?
Yeah.
It's a lot to assume from like one incident. I think like I'm just bummed that I don't see him anymore. And like I'm bummed that it's like he could hang out and then work came up, you know? But every job is different. I wish I could hang out with him so I could talk with him and be like, do you enjoy working from home? Because I don't know. My assumption right now is no, but I really have no idea.
Well, you could make the effort.
I have.
I said he.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said you. I feel like maybe that's a good place for our last question.
Well, I don't know. I thought I had maybe a couple more thoughts about it.
Go ahead. How long have we been going, though?
Hour 26. Like I said, a couple more. But who knows? Maybe I might end up not liking working from home. And maybe it's good that I have like an easy job. Because if I went straight from school to like working, I don't know, like legit in the film industry, I knew it was going to be like bonkers. Because like they work such insane hours. Like it's insane. I mean, both of us know this.
Sounds pretty insane.
My brain is shutting down. It's late. But, if I was, in hot Atlanta, working in some studio somewhere, doing whatever, I probably have a lot rougher time than I am now. So I guess in some way I should be thankful. However, I feel like I want to do something that's more aligned with my long-term career goals, and I also want to make more money. So I think those two are the crux of me wanting to find another job potentially.
I do want to do our last question, and I want to end it because I'm also hungry, but I also want to respond to that last bit you said, because there's nothing wrong with like wanting more money. And if like your field can pay you more, I guess some of this is unfamiliar to me, but what is it? I did I guess I want you to know that like I listened to your solo episode, and you talked about money in there as well, and then we talked about money. I don't know what episode, but some episode on here. And remember we talked about like 30,000 a year, stuff like that, and I was like, oh, I thought that was like a decent amount, and I know inflation is a factor, so it's not necessarily 30,000 anymore, like when I learned in high school or middle school. But I guess I just want to say that, like, what do I want to say? Sorry, I'm like really thinking through this, or I'm like, what am I doing? I think I just like, there's nothing wrong with wanting more money, but I think it could, like, it never does any harm to like appreciate what you have, because like you said in your solo episode that you make like 35,000 a year. You make like more than like twice as much as me, which is fine. But like, for you to then be like, oh, that's not nearly enough. You know what I mean? I feel like that somewhat hurts me, because it's like,
really?
Sort of, just because it's like, well, I'm like, what is it? I think in our episode on here, you were like, oh, that's nothing. That's pennies. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm making half as much as that, you know? But it's like, I'm doing fine. I'm like, well, I would like to make more if possible, but I also like, I'm fine. I'm paying my rent. I have my groceries. I'm putting the food on the table.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think like it's good to, but I'm for the most part happy with what I have. It's what I need right now, and it's enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it doesn't hurt me, maybe isn't the right word. I just think like I appreciate what I have, and I wish other people would do the same. And then also in our episode, whenever we talked about financials a bit, and we disagreed about like the 30,000 a year or not. When I listened to your solo episode, and you were like 35,000 a year, and then I was thinking back on that other episode where we were talking about financials, I believe you were I think you said in our in an episode of our show of like, that's pennies, like, and maybe it's like, it's fine for like just you, but if like if you were like a mom or whatever, like that would not nearly be enough. After I listened to your solo episode, I called up my mom and I was like, hey, Arin said this, are you comfortable like telling me like how much you make? And she's like, yeah. And then I guess I don't want to exactly say like how much she makes, but it's less than you. And she's, caring for herself and like, my two sisters, and then my sister's bunny as well. And so, yeah, I think all of that, maybe I just want to respond to like there's nothing wrong with like wanting more and like wanting better for yourself, but I also think it is good to like count your blessings and like appreciate what you have, because I think it I think if you don't know other people's situations, I don't think you may realize how good you have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to respond to that though.
Okay.
So I had a whole thing and then I lost it. But basically, ever since I started college, I began becoming acutely aware of like money and like finances and stuff, because occasionally I would go onto my, financial aid tab and see, this is how much I'm paying for school and this is how much, loans I'm taking out. And I suppose, I could have not gone to a private school, or maybe I could have applied for a few more scholarships when I was in high school, and maybe that would have eased or lessened the load a little bit. But that always really bummed me out, like how much that costs. And so, now that I have graduated from college with roughly $60,000 of debt, some of that is federal student loans, and those have been put on hold for a while now. But about 23,000 of that, meaning from when I graduated, was private loans. And all of that has to be paid back. And when I say $35,000, that is before taxes. Mm-hmm. Taxes and all the other stuff takes a lot out. And I think after taxes, my take-home pay really is only, I want to say, $26,000 or $27,000, which again is not that much.
It's still more than twice as much as me.
I know, but I don't want to just like get by, I don't want to just buy groceries and pay my rent and have however much left. I want to save money. Mm-hmm. And that was one of my New Year's resolutions for 2022. And I did start saving money. And all of that really helped out when I moved, because a lot of that money got used for like moving expenses. So like putting a deposit on my new apartment or paying my first month's rent or stuff like that. I had saved, before I started like the whole moving process, I had saved, I want to say like $2,500. And now in my savings account, I have $550 left. And now that I'm done with like the whole moving process, most of that has been depleted. And it does feel really bad, like seeing money just fly out of my hand like that. And I guess, I don't know, I don't like it. And I guess that is just a reflection of my upbringing. I did not grow up poor, like by any means, but the city that I grew up in, the median household income was $26,000 a year. And that is for the entire city of roughly 20,000 people. It's not very high. The average is 15,000. And I forgot which one is more applicable in the situation. But all that to say, my hometown is very poor. And I saw the way some people, were growing up and the environments that they were surrounded in. And I never wanted to be in such an environment myself. So I thought, the one way for me to get out of this, I guess, negative situation that is my hometown was going to college and getting a job that paid a decent amount so that I wouldn't have to be surrounded by the stuff that I was growing up, hearing gunshots every night. Even though living in Jackson, that's kind of an inevitability, which I find it's a little funny to me because it's basically been my whole life now. But, seeing people you went to high school with just getting killed by like gun violence and stuff like that, I feel like money is the way to make my life better. And of course, money does not buy happiness. I know that. But it does make things a lot easier on the person. And, now that I do know the value of like money and stuff, I have health insurance, but health insurance can only go so far. I'm like one bad car accident away from being like broke and on the street. And not to mention, having been in a car accident, especially considering the big trauma hospital the only trauma hospital in the state does not take my health insurance anymore. I don't even know what's going on with that. That's so wacky. They still haven't reached an agreement, UMMC and Blue Cross Blue Shield, but I'm basically one catastrophe away from being destitute, and I don't want that. And of course, I do have my parents to fall back on, but I won't have them forever. So I just want to set myself up so that whatever happens financially, I will be fine. I don't want to rely on anybody. I don't want people paying for my stuff. Like, I acknowledge the fact that I pay very few of my bills. I don't pay anything for my car note, insurance, car tag, none of that. I don't pay for any of that except for like gas, I guess, and maintenance and whatever. I don't pay for my student loans. My parents do that, even though my dad slips up sometimes, but I won't hold that against him. And those are like really big expenses that could really eat into my finances. And I am very lucky to not have to do that. However, at some point in my life, I will have to do that. So I just don't want to be in a position where one bad thing could happen and I could just be all my money gone, basically. I don't want to be in debt. I don't like the idea of debt. I don't even like the fact that I have a credit card, even though I do. And it does help sometimes, but I don't like that. I mean, student loans are kind of, they're unavoidable. You know, eventually, maybe someday I will buy a house. You have to have a loan for that. You can buy a house cash, but that's sort of impossible these days on a normal person income. But, you know, I think that is really where I'm coming from with my perspective about money. And also the fact that I know, you know, I specifically searched for jobs after I graduated that were in my field. Because I could have gotten a job just like doing anything. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to, you know, really start my career. So I only focused on jobs that were in video editing or like videography or something like that. Because number one, I knew they would pay better. And number two, I knew I'd be more personally fulfilled that way. So, and I guess, you know, it took me 8 months to find this job, like I said before, because I was kind of desperate. I could have, you know, held off, looked for a better job, like somewhere that I actually wanted to live, like Atlanta or maybe even New York.
Let me interrupt like 1 second. I think if you were like, I'm taking the word desperate like literally. If you were actually desperate, you would. Sorry, no. If you like, I will say we're like. I'm just taking the word desperate literally. If you were desperate, then you would have to take anything. Not everyone has like 8 months to just like find something, you know?
I know, but I wasn't desperate for just a job. I was desperate for a job that I had spent so much time and so much energy and so many, you know, hardships in school in, and also spent a lot of money like studying. I wanted to find specifically a film job. I was desperate for a specific job, not just any old job.
But do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you're taking desperate at face value. I'm saying I was desperate specifically for a specific thing. So much so that I ended up getting scammed. So.
But I'm saying, well, I think what I'm saying is that like me and like my mom, it's not like, I think we're happy with what we have and life would be easier with more. But like, I'm saying like, we didn't really have a choice. It's like we had to go with what was offered or what was available. You know what I mean? It's like we couldn't afford to just like be unemployed for like an amount of time looking for like the perfect job or the right job. It's just like, this is good enough, you know?
And I mean, I get that, but, and again, it's another thing that I was fortunate enough that my mom let me live at home for that time. You know, I know not everyone has that. I know not everyone has people that are willing to basically pay for their school. Like, I know all of these things, which is why I'm trying to take what I have and build on it as much as I can. Like, I'm trying to take the advantages that I have and make them work in my favor. So.
I think, yeah, I don't like, and I guess I'm just repeating myself, but I think like there's nothing wrong with that. I just think it's like, it's good to count your blessings. And it's like, I'm not like just getting by. It's like I mean, I am, but like not entirely. It's like I still go to the movies. I still buy video games. It's like I'm enjoying life. And I'm still saving money. It's not like my bank account is like empty. It's increasing because personally, from what I've observed of people, not saying you specifically, is that it's not as hard to like save money as people think it is. I think a lot of people are like very just kind of reckless and flippant with their money. And so it's not that hard to save money. And something else I want to say is because I responded to like desperate, is you were saying like I'm one car accident away from like being destitute, but then you also say like, but I could fall back on my parents until they're dead.
But the thing is, I don't want to do that.
Well, but wait, but you can. It doesn't matter if you want to or not. It's that you can.
Okay.
And what I was gonna say is that like I feel like that statement of anyone's one car wreck away from being destitute, no money in their bank account. I feel like that's true for everyone. The difference is do you have people to fall back on or not? And I think like I wanted to say that like me and my mom like don't. You know what I mean? Like, though I'm not entirely sure that's true. I guess we do have a lot of people that are very close to us, but that's like, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I wanted to say that we don't, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking people would come to our aid, but I don't know if there's anyone that could like fully support us, you know, if something were to happen, you know? So I think that's an important distinction as well. Yeah. Of like, I think it doesn't matter if you do or don't want to do that. It's the matter of like, if you can, if it's there, if they're like, just because you don't want to fall on a safety net, it's the matter that like there is a safety net, where I feel like for me and my mom, there really isn't a safety net. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But like, what if I find myself, I guess, in your guys' situation somewhere down the line and I don't have a safety net? Like, that is why I want to be like fully self-sufficient, paying all of my own bills, only relying on myself for all of my needs. I don't want to, I mean, I guess it sounds weird, but I don't want to like rely on people for things. I want to be not my own person. That's not the word for it, but I want to have myself, you know, any needs that I have, I want to be able to fulfill them myself, you know, because I feel like, I guess this is just newfound adulthood, but my entire life was spent needing other people for things. And I don't like that. I don't want to have to do that. I want to only rely on myself. I want to be self-sufficient. I want to be able to take care of myself as a person. And being financially stable is part of that. And I guess it does make me a little emotional, because that is like my driving force in life, is just really being able to take care of myself. Because I don't know why this is, but I just don't like the thought or the fact that I have to rely on people to just live, you know? I don't want that. I want to, not that I want to be by myself, that's not what I mean, because sometimes when I say that to my parents, that's what they get, but obviously I want to have other people around me, but the central thing of it is that I don't want to have to rely on anybody else for anything other than myself, because I feel like at that point, the only person who can let me down is myself. And the only person who can, I guess, take away whatever support I have is myself. So I don't want to have to rely on other people, because other people are unreliable, basically.
But isn't that like what's you're saying you don't want to do that, but then like it sounds like it's exactly what you're doing right now. What's stopping you from just, I don't know, what's stopping you from paying all these bills that you're not paying, that a lot of people have to pay? What's stopping you from paying your student loans that a lot of people have to pay?
My job, that isn't paying me enough. Hence why I want to potentially find another job. And actually, there was an event that was the catalyst for me thinking this. My dad is the one who pays only one of my student loans. And for like the last couple of months now, he's either been late, or last month he didn't pay it at all. I had to do it, and he has not paid me back for it. And he was also supposed to like buy my car tag, but he hasn't for some reason. So I think my tag is just like expired. I don't know what's going to happen there. If I get pulled over, not my fault. But basically, what was I saying? He was suggesting to me that, you know, hey, maybe it's time that you take on some of your own expenses, which I think it's kind of wild that my parents are like, they're not cutting me off, but really it's just my dad. My mom is fine with paying all my student loans, because they said they would before I even started college. They said, Arin, the only thing you have to do when you go off to school is worry about making good grades and graduating. And I did that. So now they're supposed to handle the rest. Now the fact that they might not be handling the rest for very long is upsetting to me, because number one, you made a promise and now you're not keeping it. And number two, I don't have the means to pick up that expense. And so now I need to find a job that just pays better. So
I think what I'm trying to tell you, or maybe what I'm trying to like get you to see, is that like from what I'm understanding is like we have the same like a lot of the same bills, a lot of the same debt, and the same like money issues, or not, maybe not money issues, a lot of the same bills, a lot of the same debt. But I think, I mean, we'll see, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but like I think like whenever I need to start paying my student loans, like regardless of if my pay has increased or not, it's like I have to be able to pay those and figure it out, you know, and pay certain bills and pay that debt. And it's like, if I can do that with the amount that I'm making, I think that you are definitely more than capable of doing it with the amount you're making.
And I mean, you're probably right, but maybe I'm just used to, I don't know, this is going to sound really shady, but don't take it that way. Maybe I'm just used to a certain standard of living. Maybe I'm just used to always having enough money in my bank account. I don't know. Maybe I just want to, I don't know, not really keep up some facade, because it's not like I'm out here in a Bentley or something, but you know, maybe I'm just used to different situations financially. Like, I don't know. And I mean, we likely had a different upbringing when it came to money and things like that. So, I don't know.
Have you have you given any more thought to like therapy or anything? I'm serious.
Yes, every day.
Okay. Yeah.
I went to the doctor recently, and I was thinking about asking them to refer me to a therapist, but number one, I didn't even know if that was something that they could do. And I guess I just chickened out of it. So, yeah.
Sorry to hear that. I think as long as the therapist is good, I think, as far as I know, for as long as the therapist is good, it's like, I feel like therapy does people good.
Yeah. There's also, if I do therapy, I don't want to do it virtually. I got to be in person. Like, and with the, you know, whole ponder replay going on right now, that is how most therapists are doing it. And then I guess there's the other issue of cost, whether or not it's covered by my insurance. I only have, I'm about to turn 23, so I only have 3 years left on my parents' insurance. Don't think I can get everything fixed by then, so gotta get a move on. What else? Also, given that we live in the state of Mississippi, there are a not insignificant amount of therapists that incorporate theology into their therapy, and I don't want that. So... And I spent some time looking for therapists. This was sometime last year, because it was after I moved here. And I found that a lot of them did do that. So
I can't speak for like every therapist, but I know that like previously, when we had talked about it off the podcast as you were walking out my door, you were like, oh, I don't want to see the Belhaven counselor because
if they tell me to pray, I'll get mad.
Yeah, which I will say that I saw that counselor for like a number of months. I think it was like every 3 weeks. So I saw her, I don't know, a couple of times. We'll say 10 or so, maybe 12. But she never told me just like, oh, just pray. Like, and
well, you know,
she
that's
never,
good to hear.
And like, I feel like Christian theology never really like came up unless I brought it up. And so I can't speak for every therapist, but I feel like you can, I don't know how many therapists do like consulting, but like, you know, maybe you find a Christian therapist that you're like curious about, then like you could talk with them of like, it's like would this be an issue if I'm like, don't talk about this or don't bring this up? And then like, I guess if they say yes or no, we'll determine if they're right for you. But I know that the therapist at like Belhaven was like a Christian and like had her beliefs. But I know that never came up unless I wanted it to.
Well, the thing is, when I was looking for therapists, each of them do have websites. And some of them do go into how they approach their therapy. And again, a not insignificant amount of them said that they approach therapy from a Christian perspective. And that basically told me that this probably isn't going to be the one for me. So I guess all that is to say is if they are a Christian, then that extinguishes all curiosity for me. So, and it's not like, I'm anti-Christian or whatever. It's just I don't want that incorporated into my therapy because I am not. And if they try to force it on me, then I'm not going to be very happy about it.
I feel like they wouldn't be a good therapist if they tried to like force it on you. But
there are a lot of bad therapists out there, and I don't even know if I want to like roll the dice like that.
Yeah.
Nah,
that's where consulting, but I don't know how many do that.
Why did you bring up therapy?
You seem distraught.
Well,
you like you were saying, like you, based on talking about your parents and financials, you seemed very stressed and emotional. And so I guess it was just a caring question.
Okay. Well, I mean, it did happen recently, so I am still thinking about it.
Yeah.
And it's coming up time to pay the student loan that my dad is supposed to be paying pretty soon. Don't know if he's going to pay it or if I got to do it again.
Biden hasn't extended it again?
No, this is a private loan.
Oh.
My federal loans, we haven't paid anything on them. They've been extended essentially since I've graduated. And honestly, they might cancel them. Who knows? Probably not. But maybe. Hope so. Because that would be, I want to say, a good $15,000 knocked off the balance. So that'd be pretty good for me. And, well, more specifically, my parents. But it is in my name, so it is my debt.
Wouldn't that cause like inflation to rise more?
I don't know. I don't.
Because it's just like money, poof, I
don't know. I don't claim to know how any of that works. All I know is it would be nice for me if it no longer existed, and probably a lot of other people.
Well, see, I watched a simple video explaining inflation, and what I've learned is that it's like stimulus checks were nice. I never got one, but were nice when COVID was starting. Problem is there was really, as far as I know, there was really no way to know who needed it and who didn't, and so the people that didn't, it's just like, whoa, free money. Well, it's like, I'm gonna buy a 4K TV or whatever, and it's like,
and all that PPP loan fraud people are still getting arrested for.
What is it? All I know is that made like those stimulus checks, while probably very helpful for a lot of people, the people that didn't necessarily need it, that definitely did cause inflation to rise, because it's like all of a sudden there's a lot more money. People just have it, they're spending it, and it's like, inflation.
Well,
so I wonder, I don't entirely know how like loans work, but I feel like if you can if making money suddenly appear increases inflation, then I feel like making money suddenly disappear would probably also increase inflation. But
it sure is a hypothesis.
It's not a rude.
Well, I don't know.
You just said you don't understand it.
I don't.
And I've said I understand it a little bit. So there you go. I'm the expert now. Well.
Anyway. Boy, that question.
There's no time. I'm okay foregoing it.
Oh,
sorry.
You say so. Well,
yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
That doesn't mean the new standard is 2. Well, okay. If we stay to our regularly scheduled programming, Next episode it will be 3, but I'm okay with it just being like 1 from David, 1 from Melissa this episode.
Okay. Well, the fans are gonna riot.
Yeah,
Patricia
gonna
will in 3 months
nail me to a cross.
Caught up with this episode. Yeah.
That was a good one. Took me 3 months to catch up to it though. You want to do the outro?
Yes.
All right.
This has been the 22nd episode of the Not Just Aaron podcast. You can listen to us on all major podcast platforms. That is Apple, Spotify, Google, Anchor, somebody's car alarm, YouTube. I think that's it. Social media, Not Just Aaron pod, Twitter, Instagram. There you go. To discuss all things Not Just Aaron, you can use the hashtag NJApod. I am watching. I am waiting. Nothing so far. It's fine. Questions. We're accepting them now because that's a thing that we're doing. Sustained. Yeah. Segment. It's not really a segment if we do it like...
We're incorporating it into the show.
Yeah. Send us questions. They can be personal. Maybe. Whether or not we answer them remains to be seen, but you can still send them. Who are we sponsored by? Wait. Okay, who are we sponsored by?
I thought of 2 sponsors today.
We got 2 sponsors now. That's
2
great.
2 sponsors.
Wow.
One, I was kind of inspired by, well, I don't know. One, I wanted to say Taiwan, specifically the country of Taiwan.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the first one. Can you thank the country of Taiwan?
Thank you to the country of Taiwan for financially supporting the Not Just Aaron podcast. We wouldn't be able to do it without you. And now our podcast is no longer available for distribution in China. Whoops, don't know what happened there. Who's our other sponsor?
The other sponsor is Squeegee Girl, which is a reference only David is going to get. But I feel like he will laugh very hard when he listens to this.
Well, thank you to Squeegee Girl for financially supporting the Not Just Aaron podcast. We couldn't do it without financial contributions like yours. And that's it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go cry about money.
All right.